This is the Lydia and Spin with Lydia Lunch in Brooklyn and Tim Dahl in where are you, Tim?
Well, I performed with the Zumioe in Antwerp, but we're in Brussels. We go take a long trip tomorrow back to Berlin, but we're doing our thing, and it's been fine. No, the general vibe I've gotten so far is not anger towards Americans, more like, "Are you okay? Is everything
Yeah,
okay over
exactly.
there?"
Exactly. Yeah, well, I'm so sick of talking about the boars on Pennsylvania Avenue that I thought I'd give you a few animal stories. I don't know if you
Oh, I
heard
love
or
it.
if you're heading to France, but nuclear power station, the largest in France, had to close down because a massive swarm of what? Jellyfish. Yeah. You know,
Ooh,
they love,
where in
yeah.
France?
It's in Gravesline, which is like near Dunkirk. They had to shut off automatically because it was such a swarm because the jellyfish love warm water and the
That's
water
what
is
happens.
getting warmer. Now they said they're carrying out the diagnostics and interventions and complete safety, but this is not the first time. I mean, jellyfish do this in the Sea of Japan, and these are these blue gelatinous, just hideous looking creatures.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to be swimming near Dunkirk, anyways. It's pretty industrial and dumpy, and it's definitely hard drinking around there. Up near Calais and Dunkirk. It's like Belgium actually, but Belgium's a little is not is less suppressed, but it's Ostend
Well,
and all that stuff. I played in Dunkirk once. Have you?
yeah, me too. If the weather we have going on in New York carries on, we might be swimming in Brooklyn any minute, so you never know.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Floods everywhere and everything else.
I thought you were talking about boars because there's blue boar meat that's being discovered, wild boar meat.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Poisonous.
Poisonous, yeah, because they're eating
Pesticides.
pesticides, exactly. So their meat's being blue, and yeah, well,
Well, what
I don't
about
think you'd want to eat that.
oh no, what about the horned rabbits with spikes all over their faces?
I didn't hear about that. Where's that?
That's happening in Fort Collins, Colorado. They're infected with cottontail papilloma virus, CRPV, and it causes these tumors to grow on or near their head. It's absolutely terrifying looking. It looks like they ran into a porcupine whose
Right.
prickers were like giant forks. It's really terrifying. Poor rabbits.
Was it carotene or what's the
What's the
what's
makeup of
the
the horns?
no
Yeah,
no no no
they're
no
carotene.
yeah, hair and teeth are all connected to all this. So
Yeah, and
it's sort of like those ovarian cysts that some women get that have like hair and teeth. I hate to bring this up, but
yeah,
that's like a whole
exactly.
thing. Like, oh no.
Yeah, well, and also these could be like they develop like horns or tentacles, but also some of the warts they get can turn into carcinoma, and then if it
Yeah.
spreads, I mean, it's just tragic. I mean, look, rabbits, leave them alone, please. Poor rabbits.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The rabbits are destroying my mom's summer garden, and I think there's
Well,
there's less coyotes this year. So I don't know. Yeah, they're. Oh, but you know what? My family used to have a dog. I think that's the difference. Okay. That's
get a guard,
gone.
get a guard. Well, one last story, and this is actually a positive news. Cancer cells go up in flames thanks to this deep sea sugar. Now, there goes a big roar of thunder. Scientists
Yeah.
have
Was
discovered
that
a
thunder
sugar
behind you?
compound. That's thunder.
Okay.
Scientists have discovered a sugar compound from deep sea bacteria that can destroy cancer cells. So it's a natural substance produced by the microbes living in the ocean, which is, finally something that's living in the ocean that can extend our life as opposed to the Great
Well,
Pacific.
and that goes out to all you anti-environmentalists out there, and they don't understand the impact of 100 to 150 species going extinct every day. That's not like a furry thing you've grown up seeing through nature videos or at the zoo. It's mostly plants and things like that. And the cures are probably out there, and I guess
That
we
was
will
certainly
never
that
know.
they're certainly in the plant kingdom. So anyway, this specific sugar, it not only stops tumors from growing, but it activates the immune system to fight back. I mean, this sounds, I'm never for it. Look, people have to have chemo when they have to have it. Everybody has cancer or will have cancer. We'll all get it. Some of us will die, some of us won't. But I certainly think there are other methods of treating it than kill and maybe kill the cells and kill the human with chemo. This sounds very positive to me. I'm going to keep investigating this.
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about the cancer that runs our government right now, but
No cure for
do you think
that.
do you think RFK Jr. is mad that Trump's going to turn the Kennedy Center into the Melania Center? I
Oh
mean, he is kind of
God.
like dissing the Kennedy family there. Do you think he's upset about
Uh,
that?
well, as if he hasn't dissed the Kennedy family himself enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, come on. He's like the crust on the bottom of a shoe at the end of a garden in Chippequatic. What's it
Exactly.
called? Exactly. Whatever.
Well, I mean, I could tell more. I could rant more about Trump and all that shit,
I'm
but I
sick of
don't
it.
know. It's like 1 in the morning here in Belgium. I don't know.
Right now I'd rather be
What?
listening to the thunder and the joy of having the bitter Buddha Eddie Pepitone on this
Sure.
session of the Lydian Spin with Lydia Lunch and Tim Dahl. Tim, go to bed.
Yep.
Simon, go to sleep. I'm gonna go outside and run. I'm gonna go outside and run around in the thunder.
Well, you guys live next to each other, so I guess you're hearing the same thunder and you can do
Oh
whatever you
yeah.
want, right?
Fantastic, loving it. All
All
right.
right. Well, I might have a cranberry cocktail, and that will be crantastic.
This is the
Well,
Lydian Spin with Lydia Lunch, Tim Dahl, and the bitter Buddha, Eddie Pepitone. So happy that you took the time and you were very busy schedule road dogging to do this.
I'm
You're in
road dog.
Austin now, right?
I am in Austin. Yeah.
You
And
got four big shows this week, two a day on Friday and Saturday. This will go out on Friday. So you got two big shows, and then you'll be doing a conversation with the man that brought us together, JT Haberstad, whose book you
yes,
wrote the intro to, Doing Time, which is a great book. Happy you were
yes,
in it.
yes. Me and JT I'll be at the Creek in the Cave Friday and Saturday, 7 and 9, two shows a night, and then me and JT at the Kick Butt Cafe at 2 p.m.
On Sunday. Love that place. By the way, how does it feel doing, at least sometimes do it, not often, two shows a night? That's brutal.
Yeah, that is not easy. That
That
is
is,
not easy because
no.
as a comic, you're like, okay, I can't go completely nuts the first show. Like, I can't leave it all out there because I have another show to do in like 40 minutes or a half hour. But I don't know. I've always realized that I always have a little extra. I always have more than I thought.
Right.
I always have more than I thought
I
in
get you.
my tank. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a
It's
full
it's one of
tank,
those things.
baby. That's a full tank you got there, Eddie. Let's face it, you're kind of in a renaissance. Not that you always haven't, but you're really having this is kind of your time now, my friend. I'm sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
You're right.
No, no. I mean, yeah, you follow through on that. I was just going to continue on the whole two shows in one, and I
Yeah.
also want to spin off like just matinees as a comic. Does the night have an impact on you versus the day?
Oh, days are horrible. I mean,
Right.
for a comic, we're night
Right.
creatures. I would imagine
Yeah.
bands are the same. But yeah, like the early show is 7. That is early because it's light out.
Yeah.
And when the night descends is when we come out. The comedy is a dark art,
Well, as a
and
stand-up tragedian, I'd like to do my shows at 9 a.m. just to set the day on the right or wrong foot. But I'm a proselytizer.
Have you ever
me too.
done a morning show? I mean, maybe television.
Oh my God. Besides radio, when I have to plug stuff on the radio, I'll
That's
never
brutal.
forget being driven to a radio station. I think it was in Montreal, and it was like 5 a.m. and it was snowing and sleeting, and I was feeling, 5 a.m., please. I just was like, I couldn't be funny. I couldn't be funny. I just wanted
You were more
to
bitter than Buddha at that moment.
absolutely. I, I wanted to kill everybody.
We have a lot in common with that statement, Eddie. I have to say, we are contrarians. Yes, I
That's
we were before this was being recorded. I was mentioning your new beard and mustache and saying I do have to shave mine occasionally, being half Sicilian, as I know you are too.
yes.
Well, one thing though, comedians, the good comedians kind of cut through the shit. And when
Mm,
you're on a morning talk show, and you don't have to mention names, but when it's just a
yeah.
bunch of bullshit plug morning talk show personalities, how do you gel with that?
I don't, but I look at it as a job.
Yeah.
I just look at it as something I have to do to, promote the show. And, these guys or girls who were doing the DJing, they're making time for me, promoting it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do the job as best I can.
Well, I mean,
But
the thing is, we got to be our own pimps. We got to be our own hoes. The hoes
yeah,
are on the dance floor. That's the way it is. I mean, might
totally.
not might not like it. I was reviewing your For the Masses, your last, because I know
Mm,
you have a new special out called Collapse. I haven't seen that yet, but
yes.
when I was reviewing For the Masses, which
Uh-huh.
is fantastic, a few things. First of all, I love the stage set of all those books on stage. Now, one question. One of the things you were saying in there is, yeah, that's why I like rough sex. My wife ties me to the bed and she starts saying, "You don't even finish a book." And then I was like, well, what are all those books behind you, my friend? What who man
Well,
who pulled all those books out?
yeah, oh man, I do have a penchant for starting some books and not finishing them though. You know what I mean? And in today's world, it's tougher and tougher to read. Even though I started reading again, you ever read The Goldfinch?
Never read
No,
that.
Oh
Tim
my,
Goldfinch.
no,
no.
it is a
Donna
great
Tartt.
what?
Is it by Donna Tartt?
Yes,
Yeah, I read it.
yes.
I actually
Oh,
kind
that's
of a fan of her work.
Simon
I
the
read
producer.
I
He's
read
accompanying me.
what her original book, the one which about the kids at Bennington. That's a really good book. Yeah.
Right. She's great in general. I forget what that was called, but man, I'm just getting lost in this book, and that's the purpose of a
But
good
also,
book.
are there any books, Eddie, that even if you haven't finished them, I know that in the summer, for instance, I go back to certain books, no matter how many times I
Mm,
read them, and I won't read the whole thing. I'll just
me
skim
too.
through, like Henry Miller. I
Inspire.
always
Oh my God, you're kidding me. Henry Miller. I was just gonna say he's the guy that I go back to, you know?
see how much we have in common. I'm going to send
We
you a
do.
recording of my favorite passage of him that Tim did the music to. A reading
Really?
from
Which
Henry
one?
Miller is who I go back to from Tropic of Capricorn or Tropic of Cancer. And this
Yeah.
reading, this to me is just the most, I don't know how I had the nerve to pick up a pen reading that at 13 when I did, but I picked it up and now I'm reading The Dead Men because other people, other than you, most people haven't read this shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, Miller is known for like, oh, Henry Miller, he's the one who writes about sex, but man, he was so much more.
Uh,
Ooh, I love him too because he's from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, and
Hello. I
it
live in
was
Brooklyn. Tim lives in Brooklyn. We're
oh, really?
Brooklynites. Even if I
What,
wasn't born here, but I mean, I'm more
Hmm.
Brooklyn than most.
what neighborhood? What neighborhood?
I was born, I guess it's called Flatbush, but it was
Yeah.
like I was I was like Avenue N and Third Street, something like that. My dad grew up in Marine Park. I have
Oh, I know it
cousins.
all. I know it well because I grew up. I already grew up. I lived for 12 years on
Mm,
Avenue I and Bedford, right near Brooklyn
mm,
College, and
mm.
near obviously Flatbush Junction being Flatbush and Nostrand. And Simon, the producer, and I, and Lydia's been there too. We used to go to a bar in Marine Park
Oh,
called the
really?
Clatta Inn / Costello's, and
Oh,
it's been there
shit.
forever. And yes, well,
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Steve
Man.
said, "Bay, it's where all the all us Italians ran around."
Well, it is Italian, Jewish, and
Yeah,
Irish.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
My
historically,
dad,
not yeah,
my dad, it's Sicilian, my mom Jewish. Both are
yeah.
dead, and I got their money, so I feel good about that.
Oh my God. Well, Madison High School on Bedford and Quinton Road. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Chris Rock went there.
Yeah, that's right. I went to Brooklyn Tech, and Spike Lee was in my
Wow,
my
that's an
my
impressive
class.
gig. I mean, that means you're very talented in school. Not easy to get into
No,
Brooklyn Tech. No, but
No.
that's a
I got in there, but I was not a good student, man. In high school was when I found weed, and
and
forget
other
it.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, and other things, but particularly weed, and I was just off to the races there. And we
And by
had
the way,
moved. Mhm.
let's review. Weed in those days was not the psychedelic mindfuck it is now. One hit, you're out of it now. I don't know how people do it.
Oh my God, yeah. I had to quit it again. I had to quit it again. Because it's so hard, and you know this too, right? It's so hard after shows to wind down. It's hard to be sober, you know? It's hard. So
yeah.
When
weed
did your
would be nice.
sobriety kick in, though? I mean, because you're
I've
probably the
been in
most
and
healthy
out.
you've, but you're
Yeah,
much more healthy now than you've been
that's
because you
true.
just are. You have to be at this age. We're almost the same
We,
age.
yeah, you have to be right because if you're not, you can't do any of it. You can't do any of it. I have a trainer. I do. I do. I have a trainer
You
back in
must laugh at
LA.
that yourself. You must
I
go,
do. I
it's
do.
ridiculous. I have a trainer, but I do.
It
I
is.
I have to mention this because to me it's hilarious. In the doing time in JT Eversett's book, which you wrote the intro for, and you're in it, a lot of other great comedians.
Hmm.
You mentioned doing, I don't know what year this was, a cruise
Hmm.
from Honolulu. And the comedians were opening for Charo, which, by the way, Xavier Cuga, right, the band leader, her husband, used to have in an LA Mexican restaurant these really obscene drawings he would do. I don't know if you ever saw them. For
I
instance,
don't
like a
think so.
dentist in somebody's mouth and like then going to grab, the
Oh
the
shit.
lady next to him. I don't know. Tim just got kicked off for some reason, but we'll
Did he?
keep going. We'll come
He's
back
in
on.
Brussels.
Yeah, I mean, he could be anywhere in the world.
It
But I mean, so how was that? I mean, Charo, first of all, pretty
was
funny
hilarious.
herself and more talented than people give her credit for.
I
She could
agree.
play that guitar, man,
Yeah, she could. And of course, she got, she had big boobs. So that was like the big thing on the late
and
night
great
talk show.
dresses. Yeah, and great
Yeah, great
dresses.
dresses. And she would be the coochie coochie. If you remember,
Of
I
course,
think
I
she
do.
used to, yeah, the coochie coochie coochie. She used to go on Carson a lot. It was
And Queen, she
hilarious.
was almost like a drag queen. Oh, female drag queen. That's how good she is.
Yeah, female, yes, yes. And I'll never forget, I don't know if I mentioned it in that book, but we were walking through Western Samoa, which is an American fucking
Military, isn't it? Like
I
military.
probably,
Yeah,
why else would they be there? But
yeah.
she walking through it, it's just thatched huts, and she just goes, "Let's call this place what it is, a piece of shit." And I was like, I just looked at her. And all right, she's Charo. She must know.
Unbelievable. Look, obviously, starting out in comedy, I mean, I still think
Hmm.
comedy is one of the hardest things that anybody could. You have to be sick, twisted, and in pain to decide you're going to
Yes.
spread that out over a vast terrain, hoping to
Mm,
find some solace because other
yeah.
people are suffering too. But it's
Yeah.
got to be one of the hardest freaking jobs because some nights you're, balls to the wall. It's amazing, and other you get like
Yeah.
the dead side eye, especially when
Yes.
you're beginning and people don't know who you are.
Oh, oh.
Brutal.
When you're beginning, that's what separates everybody. If you can make it through those beginning years, because it's the brutality of it is
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
like unbelievable, and if you could get through those years without killing yourself,
Or
then
somebody else.
or somebody else or both,
Right.
um, you can do it because it takes so much to mentally keep going, but for me it was always a case of like I didn't have a plan B. I never did. I
I
never
hear
did.
you. I never had a plan B. And the same with like, stand up tragedy, which is what I do. in the beginning, the sets have to be 10 minutes long. People, men, they couldn't take it. They didn't know I'm defending your sex against the rest of this sex that's ruining every fucking thing. So, and I don't
Yeah.
know, like a lot of times when you're doing opening comedy stuff, sometimes the sets are really short when you don't have your own gig. Is that not true? Like some of those comedy club things are can be pretty short in the beginning, but it's still painful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Really painful. And when you first start off, you do fucking open mics.
Oh,
And those are the worst
whoa.
because you're doing them in front of other comics who want to see you fail or who aren't listening or both, and it's just like you're just doing it to like get up in front of people. And I was also excuse me, I was also one of these people who was so nervous when I first started that I would throw up before
Oh,
shows.
I'd make the audience throw up. I mean, I was nervous once. I'm like, that's it. My job is to make them nervous. I ain't going there. I mean, least
Yeah,
of what I could do.
yeah. Because for me, the whole thing has been a catharsis. It still is, the whole act of doing stand up is like I've got all this accumulated angst that doesn't seem to go anywhere, no matter how much yoga or meditation I do or whatever,
Goes
you
out
know.
of one hole and into the two holes of somebody else, and you hope it sticks there. I love what you said in For the Masses also when you said,
Mhm.
forget a daily affirmation. Let's have a daily recrimination because
Yes.
that so suits kind of part of your not personality and your stage thing. It's like it's kind of reminds me of Jerry Stahl and the way that Jerry Stahl says
Oh,
a lot
wow.
of things about men that nobody else would say. You say a lot of things about your own, I don't even want to call it insecurity. I'm going to say human dilemma that really a
Mhm.
lot of people can relate to. I love also in For the Masses where you say, I know I'm sending mixed signals. I'm soft and then I'm hard and then I'm well because, and I think that also as you have matured to be the age we are, and the same in my work is like you have to sophisticate our hysteria because we are extreme, we're contrarian, we're like we
Mm.
don't want to be Bobcat, we don't want to be Kinnison. That's part of
Yeah.
our nature, that kind of extremity. But you have to kind of sophisticate your way in to make it not more
Yeah.
palpable, but because you just have to. And I find that that's why I love that thing when you're saying, "Yeah, I'm sending you missed signals. I can be soft, I can be hard, but in the end, you know what we are. We're more brutal
Yeah.
than most
Yeah.
because the
It's
truth is
it's
brutal."
The truth is brutal. And yeah, I think what you mean by sophisticated is we have to articulate it. We have
Exactly.
to, and you know what's funny? I think art is something that art is transformation, and it's so hard to articulate like a transformation that's going on in you. And sometimes I have this exercise where I'll go on stage and I'll say to myself, don't make any sense tonight. Don't make any, no, I mean it. Like, don't make any sense. And sometimes that takes me to a great place,
Because sometimes we're
because
making too much sense. Like we're making a
absolutely
lot of fucking sense. And what does it matter? All the sense we're making is but
people
again, I
don't
think
want to
both of
hear
us,
about sense.
well, yeah, some do
I
because
don't
we
know.
are
Yeah.
articulating a lot of the
Mhm.
thoughts in other
Mhm.
people's heads. I mean, that's why
Mm.
also we have to continue doing what we do because we're not alone
Yes.
in this. I mean,
Right.
I stand as an army of one, but still, I want to bring the troops
Yeah.
in. And
Yeah.
that's just the way it is. I mean,
It's amazing.
God,
I was just going to say that it's amazing how many people reach out to me either at shows or through emails and stuff, saying how much I've helped on them, how I got them through the pandemic. I'm laughing
I
because I don't know how I did that, but I kept doing a podcast because I was going nuts during the
and
pandemic.
you still have your podcast, the
Yeah,
Pep
now,
Talks, right?
now I have a different version. It's called Apocalypse Soon instead of
Right, because
Apocalypse.
it's always apocalypse now in my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah, me
Yeah.
too, man. I'm so sensitive to the environment, and I'm
Oh,
here in Austin. I don't know how people live here in Austin, right in the summer. I mean,
oh,
it's stupid. I, the club is 10 minutes away. I have to be there to do a guest spot tonight. I don't think I'm walking. I don't think I'm walking. I don't.
why not? Why walk? It's too hot.
It's too fucking hot.
Well, I'm not topping you on this, but I'm gonna say New York last week and Chicago and Detroit had the worst air quality in the
Oh,
freaking world. And this
yeah,
is
I
why
was in New York for that, by the way, which
and this is
really
why I said
sucked.
today I'm like I think I'm feeling a little brain drain from not being able to have any oxygen get into my system. I mean,
Yeah, the
and
Canadian wildfires, right?
and every other freaking wildfire and every other flood and every other form of pollution. The thing is, I've been talking
Yeah.
about Mother Nature's revenge since
Mm.
'82. Here
Is
we
that,
are.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
What we
yeah.
gonna do about it, you know?
You ever listen to Terrence McKenna?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Man, he was talking about that shit many years ago about nature is going to really destroy us if we
I
don't start,
do it.
taking heed. You know what
And
I
I
mean?
don't blame her. I don't blame.
I don't
I just
blame
I
her at all.
I just put an article aside. I haven't read it yet before we started this podcast that said, watch out. There are rabbits with antlers invading. It's like it's some kind of viral thing. Like now the rabbits are coming after us.
Yeah,
Don't touch them.
yeah, totally.
I mean,
And
what?
nature, I don't know, getting back to that whole thing about making sense and stuff, the best art comes from, I think, primal. It's primal. At least that's how I've always worked. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? I'm not great at like shaping ideas, but the primal stuff
Well, I
is
think you're
where
great
it's
at
at.
So
shaping
that's like
ideas,
presence.
but I'm not great at offering a solution because I don't think we can come up with one. It's like we got the ideas, we just don't have the solutions because I don't know if there is one. Apocalypse soon, apocalypse now. Hello, my
Yeah.
bitter Buddha.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that and audiences I think are used to me because I've also been saying we're fucked many
Yeah,
years ago, and now other people is like, oh yeah, we're fucked,
yeah. Well,
and
we're fucked.
yeah, we're
But
fucked.
because of
But
that,
don't you,
don't go ahead, Tim.
as a comedian, you kind of have to be primal because it's you're not going to overthink it. You have to go with your gut, your intuition and
Yeah.
instinct, and you have to be hyper present. You can't be
Yes.
you have to be less than second to second. I mean, just really, really
Yeah,
fast.
that's true.
And musicians have to do the same thing as performers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of it. Question:
Yeah.
You're half Italian and half Jewish in Brooklyn. What do you
Mhm.
think of the tradition of entertainers, performers, comedians, the Jewish
What
ones that play Italians? Andrew Dice Clay, Sean on Henry Winkler. What do you think of that whole thing?
that they play Italian?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, because actually,
Yeah.
Madison High School, that's where Andrew Dice
Yeah.
Clay went. So I mean, this whole
Yeah.
character
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the urban Jew being like a Fonzie greaser.
Yeah, I think they're hiding their Jewishness, and I get it. I get it, that they're doing that. The Italians are the cool ones. Meanwhile, the Jewish side is like the smart, side that isn't
Responsible
as
for so
cool.
much culture in this country, comedy
Yeah.
or not,
Oh, totally.
and science
Totally.
and a lot of things. But yes,
and a lot,
Totally.
and
but
a
it's
lot of.
happened Italians too, and there's Italian dorks, and there's cool
Oh,
Jews. So
yeah.
I don't know what the
By
hell
the way,
that.
one thing about Shauna and I have to mention, because also in your For the Masses, which is available Amazon Prime and various other places, your last main I think, special is the guy from Shauna Na, Bowser, became, because you mentioned
Right.
something like, you got your cuddle blanket, and then you're watching murder. When did murder become entertainment? Well, I'm a forensic freak. I watch murder,
Me
murder,
too.
murder, constant, right?
So does
But then
JT.
yeah, of course, we love it. But the thing is, Shanana Bowser became a
Yes,
forensic
yes, he did.
linguistic. He would be able to see if a letter written by somebody was a real or fake suicide letter because he read all the contracts in Shanana. Just saying, there we go. I don't know if he was Jewish
Well,
or Italian, doesn't matter. I'm
what
just saying.
what about Sean Anand's performance at Woodstock? That's always a fun
Oh,
fact.
holy cow.
Sean Anand performed at Woodstock. Yeah,
What song they did one of the wake up things, I
I
remember.
maybe yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that is wild that they did that.
That's just
What
such a
about
weird connective concept there. I
what about
love it.
Joe Pesci as a jazz lounge singer? He prefers Scorsese to get him to act as almost possible. He'd rather it be in Arizona or wherever he's living, like doing, or he has like an organ jazz trio, like organ, guitar, drums. And
Right now he does?
yes, 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 yes.
That's
Well,
He's
and
connected
Eddie,
with the
I
whole
hilarious.
have to
Four
ask,
Seasons crew and
oh
all that
yeah,
stuff.
and yes, Eddie, I have to say this to you because
Yeah.
referencing Jackie Gleason. By the way, every couple
Oh.
of years I got to go back and watch The Honeymooners. I love the setting; it's just so hilarious. It's so good.
Mhm.
But you just mentioned Joe Pesci because I often refer to myself as like the no wave Joe Pesci. Of course, throwing a bit of Phyllis Diller. You got a bit of Jackie Gleason. Of course, I loved Art Carney. But I mean, I think
Yeah.
I'm funny as fuck, but I don't allow for the punchline because to me, the punchline is
Yeah.
when you have to knock somebody out who's being an asshole in the audience. I'm just saying.
I always say the punchline is me. The punchline is our reality. Because I don't write a lot of good punchline jokes, at least in my mind, and I say, you want punchlines? I'll give you a punchline. It's our reality and our fucking existence. And I am the punchline. Like I'll scream the
Exactly. You
punchline.
and I call what I do punch rock. It ain't punk
Well,
rock, maybe. It is no way, but it's punch rock.
well, Eddie,
That's
the
one of the
ultimate
things.
punchline I'm looking for is somehow we solve all the problems, we find world peace, we find a sustainable relationship with the planet. Everything works out, and then a meteor comes and just destroys everything.
It's a good
You know,
punchline.
the meteor might come, but the rest of it, nah, no faith in. And by the way, one fact, I just got to throw it in there because I'm a proselytizer.
Mm.
Because, you know, America, the fucking war whore of all war whores, has
Oh,
only been not in war for 10 fucking years. And by the way, I'm going to say it again because I say it all the time. I get a little pissed off when we only focus on Iran, we focus on Ukraine, we focus on Gaza. Horrible. 94 other countries in conflict right now. The whole
yeah.
world is at war. And that you want to go to the fucking moon or Mars, the moon, toxic dust, Mars, give it up. But
Come
you
on.
can't solve a simple problem like leave your fucking neighbor alone.
No, and it all seems to come back to money, because the war people,
It's never
Bob
over.
Bob Dylan, Bob Dylan. I just read this like yesterday. He he played Masters of War for the first time in 9 years in public the other night, and I'm very psyched about that because I wish Dylan would speak out. I know he's 84, which is amazing, but I wish he would speak out about the shit that's going on
Well,
now.
we
But
played War Pigs by Black Sabbath last
yeah,
Sunday with a bit of
oh, you did?
proselytizing in the middle of it. Yeah. Hello.
Oh, that's
Come on.
great.
That's what we
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
But
I
but
love that
I'm going
one.
back to what I was trying to say before. Art
Hmm.
is the salve to the universal wound, which is why we do it. Although we're only a mere fucking band-aid on people's
Yeah,
psychic and psychotic, you know,
yeah.
disenfranchisement right now as they try to separate the whole world and the 1%. By the way, everyone they're going
Hmm.
after is 1%. We need to go after them, the 1% that are trying to control and fuck
Yes.
everything up. But at the end of the day, this is what I have to ask you is like, I'm a hedonist. During the
Me
daytime
too.
hours, I may be focusing on statistics, warlords, all that bullshit. But night comes around, leave me alone. I'm going to have a good
I
time because
agree.
I can't have their thumb on my head every fucking minute of every day of my life.
I
So,
agree. Yeah, what, Tim?
no. Speaking of wars, tell me about comedian beefs. So you have like rappers that go against each other. How often does it get serious amongst fellow comedians? Like
It can
really
get serious.
digging?
It can get serious, but also I think comedians, they don't want to fuck with each other because we can be so vicious.
Right.
Comics can be so vicious, but right now, like Mark Maron is leading the charge against the whole anti-woke group of Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, all
Sure.
those guys, who helped get Trumpy
Trump
Dumpty
elected. Yeah.
The orange
Yeah.
ass
elected.
clown.
I did appreciate after Chris Rock got punched in the Academy Awards
Oh
by
my God.
Slapped.
yeah. Well, no, I do appreciate Jim Carrey's like, in this neo-Puritanism of wokeness. Now, I'm not a right winger when I
Hmm.
say that, but just the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
neo-Puritanism the idea that comedians who are, if they're good, they're truth tellers, are being physically attacked on stage just because they're making people a little nervous or being critical in maybe the right places. I mean, I don't want
Yeah.
comedians or any performers being assaulted because their shit's too
Right.
challenging.
Maybe Carrot Top, if he gets attacked, that'll be
Well,
okay.
well,
But
well, well,
I'm
well,
kidding.
Eddie. I always ask people.
Nobody's
I
gonna
ask
argue
people,
with that.
no, but I always ask, how come there's not a Carrot Bottom? I've been waiting for that guy.
I can imagine a freaking impersonator, but I mean, why would anybody do that anyway? Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
my
So
friend said Carrot Top is Carrot Bottom, and I'm starting I'm going to start a Doom arrangement tribute to ZZ Top called ZZ Bottom, and
Nice, loudest band I ever saw live, ZZ Top. So Eddie, when you were a teenager between New York and Staten Island, all that,
yeah,
you're coming up. You
yeah.
started like in '78, like around the same time I started.
Right,
Different
right.
vibes, same contrarian nature. What were
Oh
you
yeah.
listening to, or what were you reading? Like,
Oh,
what music were
oh.
you into at that period?
You know, the music I was into then is the music that has totally stayed with my soul. You know who I love more than anybody, and I continue to love him even more now, is Roger Waters.
oh,
Roger
okay.
Waters, Pink Floyd,
Okay.
The Who. I fucking love The Who. You know, me and JT took me to The Who here in Austin, and fucking Pete Townsend is still nuts. He said, "Fuck Willie Nelson" to the
Uh,
crowd
how
Whoa,
dare? How dare?
whoa.
I
in
mean, look,
Austin, and I just saw Willie Nelson at the Hollywood Bowl. He was amazing. That was the
I
first time.
love Willie Nelson.
I
Yeah,
don't think
he's
Pete
What does
Townsend
amazing.
Pete
knows
have?
that. I don't think Pete Townsend knows Willie Nelson is a fifth-degree black belt. He could kick that
Is
ass of
that
that
right?
6'3" motherfucker. Hello.
And he's also cranked on mushrooms all the time at like 90. So I mean,
Tommy, still
He
one of the
was.
most perverse films ever. The film Tommy.
Yeah. I
so you
lost my
like
mind in that film.
so you like British psychedelic progressive rock. I mean, the Who and Pink Floyd are technically kind of both.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
really? Would they be called? Yeah, well, maybe psychedelic. But I love the Who. I grew up with.
Well, I mean,
You asked me.
the Who's definitely considered in the progressive rock thing because, well, John Entwistle, like very kind of aggressive bass playing and kind of
Pete
technical.
Oh
Townsend, always
yeah,
an asshole, but I mean, amazing. Break those guitars. I
yes,
mean, go
yeah.
for it.
You know the trio of doom for party destroyers. If they came knocking, everyone's like, "Oh no!" It was Keith Moon, Joe
Yeah.
Walsh, and John Belushi, and those three who come rolling
Oh,
through. And well,
oh
one
my
of them's
God.
alive. That didn't last very
All right.
long.
Walsh.
So,
Yeah, I think he
yeah.
got sober.
So
Joe
he's the only one that's
Walsh.
alive. Yeah, he's the only one that's
He,
alive.
I mean,
yeah.
isn't he the one that Stevie Nicks was most in love with? He must have had a garden hose right up her keister if that was the
You
case.
know, with James Gang,
Blowing
I
coke,
remember
of course.
I was on the road once, and there was some kind of James Gang
Yeah.
tribute in Cleveland. I was in Ohio, and I turned on like the hotel room late night, and they had some old footage in Ohio, and they're like talking to Joe Walsh about making the new James Gang album, and they knocked on his hotel door, and he's like clearly been up all night, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey, we're here to talk to you about your new album, and maybe you can give us hints of what it sounds like." He goes, "I'll give you hints." He goes, "Hold on." He goes in, he gets the whole kind of like chrome tray of like of room service breakfast in bed, and he just whips it out. Everything goes, crashing. Goes, "That's what it fucking
Crash.
sounds like." And he shuts the door.
Holy shit. Yeah, yeah. Those guys took it to the limit, man. I loved Led Zeppelin, but Jimi Hendrix made. I love the
Yeah,
guitar. The guitar drove me nuts when I was young. You know,
too loud.
Oh, he
no, it
loved it.
drove. I
Oh,
loved it. I
I
would
love it.
hear.
Yeah.
That's why I loved, Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix. Clapton. I just love those guys.
Well, the first time I did mescaline, Led
Mm,
Zeppelin was playing, and I guess I was about 12, and that kind of sealed the deal for me. I'm like,
yeah,
I guess I
yeah.
do like Led Zeppelin.
I guess
Eddie,
I
did you ever
do.
have a psychedelic? Did you ever do psychedelics? I mean, you don't have to answer that,
I
but
did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I did not because I feel like and my state of reality is so fucking tenuous that I was always afraid to really do
Go
Oh,
like
there. Go
black,
there. Yeah.
yeah, but I did organic mescaline, you know.
well,
When they
that's
used to
life
make
changing.
it. When they used to make it.
It was good,
It was
you
good.
know. Yeah, one of my funniest memories was going, me and two brothers, the Brennan brothers, me and them went to a movie. I forget what it was about, but one of the brothers and me was on mescaline, the other one was straight. And me and him were crying during the movie. A horse died in it. I forget the name of the
The
movie.
Godfather.
Billy Jack.
No, you see this horse during a race, like cross the finish line and then die. And me and him
Oh.
just started crying. We're teenagers, and Mike, the brother who didn't get high, just was embarrassed. And then after crying, we just started laughing hysterically.
Laughing.
And we left the movie theater crawling out. And it was just funny because we were with the guy who was straight, and it was
Do you
really
remember which movie theater?
it was in Staten Island, but I don't remember which movie theater,
Why
you know?
Do you have
should
a
you? It
stat?
was
Do you have
like
a
40
stat?
years ago.
Do you
Yeah.
have a Staten Island favorite pizzeria?
Ooh. Um,
Joe and
I'm
Pat's.
Joe and Pat's. Yeah, Joe and Pat's.
That's kind of special.
Yeah, it is. It is. I always, Staten Island made me so dystopian. Brooklyn gave me and I think it really affected me. Brooklyn gave me, like kind of the city vibe, and Staten Island, man. It is just such an anti-cultural wasteland.
Did you ever see Cropsey about Staten Island, about that mental institution that closed down and then all these kids were disappearing and it might have
Oh
been
shit.
somebody
You're not
that
talking
worked?
about Willowbrook, or
Oh,
was it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
something else. Yeah, but
It was Geraldo Rivera's
Oh
first
yeah.
investigation. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying
Well,
about Staten Island.
yeah. Well, he followed it up with that vault he opened.
oh, that was
Uh
a real disaster. Talk about putting. I mean, if you put all the weight and all your money on a punchline that you don't know what the punchline is, that's a risk.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Was that
So,
the vault on
yeah.
Titanic, or
So,
was
so you
Al
know, Al
Capone?
Capone. Al
Al
Capone.
Oh, gosh,
Capone. There's nothing fucking in it. And
Eddie,
Geraldo.
I want to go
Yeah.
back to your early career or even now.
Mhm.
Like, what's the difference between stand up and improv for those that don't really get it?
Mm.
Like, with stand up, do you have your routine written out and that's what you're presenting? And then improv, you're just flying, you're just flying.
Right, but I have a big background in improv, and I actually have a joke where I go, you know how many improv? I go to the audience. I still use it because it's a great thing to throw in because everybody loves it. I go, you know how many improv groups perished during the pandemic? Not enough. Not enough. They all have names like scrambled eggs and mixed nuts with a Z at the end. They have to be stopped.
Well,
Anyway.
well, I mean,
Mhm.
how often? Again, there's an idea: beefs. There should be improv beefs where there's kind of like actionists like attacking like improv theater or something like that. Really bring them all
I
together.
recently I've been saying uh ICE, it would be a good use of ICE to, deport improv groups,
Oh,
like just throw improv groups into a van without due
I mean,
process.
I mean, unless improv for me as a voyeur and as maybe
Well,
someone
and
in the
as an
audience.
improv musician and also
Well,
as a
well,
studied musician, Tim, go
yeah.
ahead.
So yeah, I do all of that with music, but
Yeah.
I feel like SNL really went down the tubes
Oh, it
when it
did.
started becoming like it was like Broadway improv or something. It was like theater type doing improv. I don't know. It's got too
Eddie, I think that they
not
should study
challenging
the
enough.
Right. I think they should, as they studied the brains of improv musicians, especially out jazz musicians, and there is
Mm,
something different about the brain set of somebody that can do improv. Mainly, I do my set text, but I play with Tim. We do both, you know, a rock music, but we also do, he does improv music, and I do some
mm,
proselytizing. But I'm wondering, they
mhm.
should do an investigation into the brains of comedians who can do improv and those that can't, just like serial killers. We need a brain
Well,
examination. I want to
well,
see your
well,
MRI. Eddie, I want to see your MRI. I'm just saying.
well,
When you get it, send it to me.
Lydia and Eddie, the problem
Yeah,
is, and I think the three of us love good improv, and
yeah,
that it's just
yeah,
so saturated with fucking charlatan garbage. It actually makes
yeah,
society cynical about it. I
yeah.
mean,
Now
I don't.
I have combined. I have melded improv and
Right.
written
Yeah,
bits, and
yeah,
to
of course.
me, to me, all I care about, really, this is funny. All I care about is having a fucking good time on stage, feeling really connected to myself. And improv always keeps me in the moment. I mean, it always keeps me in the moment. It always keeps me fresh
On your
and
toes. Yeah.
yeah, on my toes and expressing things in the moment. Whereas if you're just doing rote written
Yeah.
material, it's
You get
difficult.
tired of yourself.
You get tired of yourself, and you could be very uninspired up there, and people have
Well,
seen you fucking do it.
but what about like a Rodney Dangerfield, a Don Rickles, who have such an arsenal that it's
Yeah.
almost
Yeah,
improv, even though it's all pre-written material,
Right.
because they have just this
A very
tool
different
belt
thing, though. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
just spitting out anything at any given
yeah,
time
yeah.
at
That's great.
buckshot machine gun. I mean, so
Yes.
that's like classical music, like theme and variation, as opposed to free jazz improv.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think that like I have my top two favorite comics are George Carlin and Richard Pryor. Now, Carlin fucking I found this out. Everything was so meticulously
Yeah.
written.
That's
He
that seems like the case to me.
he really would like
On the
fucking write it.
fucking nut. Right. On the note. Period. Got it.
If
Nailed it.
yeah, yeah. Prior, it seemed like he would give himself more room to like fuck around, but he also, I think any comic, I don't know about music, but any comic, you have to really know what the bit is, and then from there you can improvise.
Take it somewhere else.
Yeah,
Have you ever
Take
had a
it
no, that's
brain
wherever.
inside out. Yeah.
freeze? Have you ever had a brain freeze on stage?
Yes, yes.
I mean, I'm just thinking sometimes I'd have, because I have my notes, right? If I was doing a long,
Mhm,
long monologue, pages are numbered. Sometimes I get to the end of one page and I'd be like, did I just
mhm.
say that or not? And that's like, whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
oh, you're like thinking, did I do this
or
already?
not. Yeah. I mean, because
Yeah,
part of it is automatic, part of it is I know what I need to
yeah,
say. And the other part is I might be so
yeah.
far ahead of myself, like,
Oh, yeah.
holy shit.
You know
What if
when
I
that
just said that
happens?
same thing twice, which maybe
Yes.
needs to be repeated?
You
What
know
about
what's
you?
really fucked up? Well, yeah, I've done that, and especially we were talking about this earlier, the two shows in one night.
Oh, yeah.
You do the second show and you're like, "Oh fuck, did I already do this bit?" Well, the answer is yes, but it was in the first show, not to these people, you know?
Right.
Well, I was
And
going to
hard to
ask you that,
figure that
Eddie.
out hard to figure that out in your head. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
was going to ask you that, Eddie. How
Hmm.
often when you have a double header,
Mm.
does a mega fan go to both sets?
I bet often.
No,
I
but
bet.
it
Yeah,
happens sometimes, right?
it
I
does
bet
And then
it
you
does.
and then
happen.
you try not to focus on them because they just heard the fucking shit.
Yeah, but you know what? It actually inspires me to do different shit because
There
I'm
you
at the
go.
point I'm at the point where I have a few hours of material. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to do that
And you
same
have
hour.
decades of life experience that is your
Right.
material. Come on. Yeah.
Right. Right. And I really have learned how to improvise now,
Yeah.
like on stage as a comic, and I think it's kind of my best stuff. As a matter of fact, I just did this special. I'm going to send you a copy. I've been meaning to send you a copy of it so you can watch it.
Thank you.
But it's called The Collapse. And by the way, if people want to get it, you can get it on veeps.com, and then it's going to go up on YouTube for the great unwashed. That's what I call people, the great unwashed.
And by the way, if they go to your website, there's a lot of links to stuff that is free, that is on YouTube, that is on
oh yeah, yeah,
Amazon.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they can go and see any number of your things. Tell us about The Collapse, because that's you just recorded that and it's just come out.
I was just thinking of the titles of my three video specials, which are the first one was called In Ruins. The second was For the Masses, and this is
Yeah.
The Collapse. What's the next one going to be? It's like it's getting more and more negative. Like the next one will be called, Explosive Diarrhea of the Mind or whatever it is.
I thought it was the end, but it never is, because the war is never
Yeah.
over. That's it. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell us about The Collapse now. Where was
Yeah.
that? It's just hitting. It's just out there and soon to be on other formats. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's just the latest evolution of my, fight with myself and the modern world. I say to people that it's about my collapse and society
Right.
mirroring my personal collapse. Like our infrastructure is collapsing, and in my internally collapsing. At the end of it, I do something I've been doing for a while, and I improvise different bits, but I self heckle myself. I say I wish I had I get heckled a lot, but it's usually generic but accurate, like Eddie, you suck. And I say I wish there was a heckler in the audience that knew me as well as myself, that
Oh,
I know my and I say it would go something like this, and I jump out to the audience, and
Nice.
I'm saying things like, Pepitone, how come you always dream about red birds attacking your throat? What the fuck
oh,
is that? And I
right.
go, yeah,
Insight to paranoia. That's hilarious. Yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
How
I think
come
they were both professional hecklers. Like we're professional hecklers. So nobody's going to out heckle me.
that's
First of
right.
all, I mean,
That's
coming up
right.
as we did, there was a lot of freaking heckling. Often, if they were it was always a man. That would result in violence. Mine against them, because
Yes. Yeah.
you want to tell me to suck your dick. Come up here. You're going to get a slap in the face, a blackjack in the neck. You're going to be on your knees sucking your own dick. I'm just saying.
Well,
So
but Eddie,
Yes.
I want to ask you this because, in terms of the audience and maybe
Mhm.
your fantasy of the ultimate heckler being you, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
what would you prefer, or maybe prefer is the wrong word, a cold ass audience that you really got to win over, or maybe even fucking drag over the finish line, or
Mhm.
super fans that are just loving you before you even open your fucking mouth and you've won it before you even started?
Yeah. I prefer me, the latter. But
There you go.
the cold ass people, I find, I don't know if you get this in music, but like what they'll give you is that you'll make them laugh and then they pull back. And then you got
Mm.
to make them laugh again, and then they pull back again. And it's like hard to win them completely.
well, because you might be hitting them below the belt where it counts. That's the audience you
Maybe.
might be really hitting, and they got to be questioning them fucking selves. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. You know what? Look, I know I'm out there to impregnate the audience. I prefer
Hmm.
no applause. Like, I shut down the applause. I don't want to hear the applause. This is what I like spoken word, no applause. I don't even like it with
Yeah.
rock music. And like, I know what I'm doing. I don't expect a Pavlovian response. We never do encores. No, you're not going to get that out of me. I know what I'm
Right.
doing. I know what I'm giving you, and I really want nothing back other than I've just drilled a hole in your head. Now let me fill it with my tongue, and then we have a good night. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have
What do you
that.
think?
Yeah. Go ahead, Tim.
What do you think of roasts?
I don't like them.
You don't like
I
them.
don't like them.
Why?
I don't like them, even though some of them have really made me laugh. Like, I have to admit that some of the roast material
The
can
early
make,
ones, like the
yeah,
Don Rickles, like
right.
those.
But what really became big in comedy, it's finally dying out, is the roast battle culture.
Right. Yeah.
And like people who don't even know each other are like, to
Oh,
me,
okay.
you have to know someone really well.
Or maybe
So,
love them.
yeah,
Or
exactly.
hate them, love or hate, either. But come on, I
Well,
get
no,
what
no,
you're
but
saying.
no, but you could. It's kind of about subtext and how two
Yeah,
people can say the same joke and they have a very different effect.
yeah.
And if I think if you
Mhm.
smell the love in like Rickles, for instance,
I loved Rickles.
there's something there as opposed to like some frat boy that just like
Yeah,
is
Yeah,
making
but I
fun
yeah,
think
of
Eddie,
some white guy
sometimes you're
look.
roasting yourself. Like I think the beauty in what you do is,
yeah. Oh,
you're
yeah,
commenting on society, you're commenting on your own, like the demons inside you, which you brought,
yeah.
which you constantly talk about. But then in a way, you're sometimes roasting yourself. Who's gonna roast you? Who's gonna out roast you?
Oh, absolutely. Like, as a comedian, you really can't be high status.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of, go after yourself and then you could do like a high status thing. But you definitely have to show, and this is kind of my specialty, like your own flaws to
Yeah.
people so they can go, okay, he's just as fucked up as we
Mhm.
are, you know? And
Was
then
That's
that
the
Eddie
beauty
Murphy's
in what that's
downfall?
the absolute beauty in what you do. Exactly.
Was that Eddie
yeah.
Murphy's downfall? Because in a weird way, he
Oh,
was the
I think so.
first rock star comedian,
I
and
think
then
so.
ultimately he has these vulnerabilities that kind of take him down in some weird way.
I
Right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. He became very high status. Is that what you're saying?
No,
I
I'm
think.
just saying. I'm just saying, like
Mhm.
coming out of you know, the Richard Pryors, who basically were just a therapy meeting and just
Yeah.
and with good timing, but he's basically crying up there. And where Eddie Murphy's kind of like,
Mhm.
slap me. I mean, Eddie Murphy's brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a fucking badass, and I guess
Yes.
but I guess with black culture, there's something
Yeah.
with that, and that if people are trying to
Yeah.
take you down, you kind of want to put yourself on a pedestal. So I understand that, but
Yeah.
ultimately he had vulnerabilities too, right? And that kind of,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Well, going back to what did you think of Woody Allen's stand up before all the movies? We just
Before
yeah,
he went into movies, I thought it was so dry and so funny to me.
and
Like,
imaginative.
yeah, very imaginative, It was super writerly, it
Yeah.
wasn't that performative. It was just basically him, the nebbish,
Yeah.
like I do love, I forget what album it is. That's what we used to do, by the way, back then. There were no videos, there were albums. My George
Right.
Carlin albums, my Woody Allen album,
Bill
just
Hicks, by the way,
Bill Hicks is my favorite.
we got to
Uh,
mention Bill Hicks
he's in my
because
top three.
And
Yeah.
Lenny Bruce, of course.
Well, he was the original,
well,
Lenny kind of
when
paved the
we're
way.
mentioning Bill Hicks and we're mentioning Lenny Bruce, these are not
Mm,
funny, ha ha. These are like, and George Carlin, those are the top three, that they were talking political, important things that people could still
yeah.
relate to. And those really are the top three. And Bill Hicks, he was not
Wow.
fucking funny. He was just right on and also very exposing himself as well. Very
Yeah. Yeah.
misunderstood in a very
But
short
I
way.
think he also was funny in a
Well, we
deep.
could laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, of
But
course he was.
yeah. Yeah. And Carlin, I mean,
Genius timing.
Carlin, everybody's playing his clips now. Carlin foresaw all
Everything.
this bullshit that
Everything.
we are going through now. He totally called it, I don't know, 20 years ago at least.
Well,
You have to,
I think
yeah.
Irish Catholics that run away
Mm,
from the violence of that immigrant
mm,
story of Irish Americans, it through religion and through all this kind of tough love that they've had to go through. If you can divorce the pain of that, you have some insight, I think.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just love George Carlin. I love comics who are scathing, but they're scathing at the right targets. They're not
Yes.
scathing at the underdog. They're scathing about the fuckos who run the planet. and Carlin was a genius at that. You know what? It's also about the comics who would attack stupidity, and it's
Right.
unconscious stupidity. We don't even know how
Right.
stupid we're being.
Some of us do.
Yeah, some of us.
I know, and you know what? And the what is the remedy to that? I have no freaking idea because they like to keep us really stupid in this country. I mean, that's why we're in the
They
position
really do.
that we're in. So anyway, now look, Eddie, you've done so many different series, specials, TV shows,
Mm,
voiceovers. You've got your
mhm.
podcast, Apocalypse Soon. You got your new
Yeah.
special, The Collapse. For the Masses, still mandatory viewing, and various other things. Go to your website; people can go there. You're in better health than you've ever been. You are in the peak of your existence, my friend, and I'm happy to hear that. I think you are.
That's funny because, the traditional thing, I agree, but the traditional thing is like, oh, you're getting old. When I always have to fight that little demon in my head, like, Eddie, it's time to, maybe look at walkers. Maybe look at walker. At least look at them. There are some nice ones that are varnished, made of wood. Roger McGuinn designed a walker. I don't know if he did. Is he still alive? I
Do
think
you
he
take
is.
advantage of all the senior citizen benefits
I'm,
like
s- I'm
tickets and
starting
and
to. I'm
all
starting to. Like sometimes I'll be at a movie and I forget that I can do that. And they'll say to me, "How old are you?" And I'll say 66. And they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, you get the senior thing." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah." I suppose I still I still think it's a little way of beating the man. I'm also starting to collect Social Security, which I fucking love, until the scumbags take it away, you know. But yeah, now I'm starting to get Social Security like 2,300 a month, and I'm like,
That helps a lot,
motherfucker.
man. That helps a lot.
big
Hell
time.
yeah. Hell yeah. And I have a pension from the Screen Actors Guild, and I'm
Eddie, I don't see any. I don't see any end in sight. I just see Eddie inside. I don't think. I know that 65, 66. It used to mean
oh
100 to us. Now it's
yes.
like 45. Look at us. Here we're
Well,
going. Oh, we're not stopping. You're on tour for almost the rest of this year.
I know.
You got at least like 6 shows a month all over the place.
Yeah.
Austin this weekend, two
Hmm.
shows a day. I don't see any end in sight, but there is an end to this podcast, and that would be now. And I'm so happy that you were
Thank you
here with
so
us.
much, Lydia and Tim. And I feel like we're soulmates, Lydia.
I can't wait. I can't
Tim,
wait
not
to
so
actually.
much, Tim, not so much. But
That's fine.
kidding.
I mean, I've been dying to meet you. Thank you, JT, for putting us together. But I
Yeah,
feel we have a lot in common. We're very similar in many things. I love
absolutely.
what you do. I'm glad that you do it. I'm going to send you that Henry Miller piece right now.
Well, good. And I'm going to send you the special.
Collapse. Thank
Okay,
you.
I'm going to send you the special. And
All
thank you,
right.
Tim, as well. And I
This is
look
Yes,
going
thank
forward.
up
you.
Friday. I'll send you the link.